Finished training for the day? Time to fight post-workout fatigue with Core Power Protein Shakes. They're packed with 26 grams of high-quality protein to build muscle and electrolytes to help hydrate. The nutrition you need to help your body replenish, rebuild, and repair post-workout so you can power on to the next one. Champion your recovery with Core Power. Visit corepower.com to learn more.
New Icy Hot Nighttime Recovery relieves pain at nighttime while your body recovers. Icy Hot. You're so back.
This October, the Wrong Station celebrates a decade of dread. You can read the show notes to discover terrible new ways to celebrate with us. Today's episode, The Click of the Lock, is written by Alexander Saxton and performed by Anthony Botelho. On their second anniversary, they took the day off and ate French toast in the morning, and then went to the beach and got caught in a thunderstorm while biking back, and went out to dinner and walked home eating gelato, and made love, and went to sleep afterward. Neither of them had ever been so intensely happy. It was like being filled with a warm light. But that night, he was awakened at some point by the sound of a click in the hallway outside. He was sure it was nothing. There were 5 other units in their little brick building, and someone was always awake somewhere. But when he stepped out of the air-conditioned cool of their bedroom, he became unsettled. The back door was unlocked. He had thought he'd locked it that night. Hadn't he? They usually checked. If he didn't, she usually did. He turned the latch and the deadbolt thunked home. He stopped and listened. His wife breathed gently in the bedroom behind. He checked the hall closet and flipped the bathroom light and checked behind the shower curtain. The middle room was empty, and its closet only full of winter clothes. He went down to the kitchen and living room. Empty. His laptop was still sitting on the coffee table. Nothing seemed to have been touched. The front door was locked. They were safe. He had an eerie feeling, but he banished it and returned to bed. When he woke the next morning, the incident was gone from his mind. But that evening, after brushing his teeth, he noticed the back door was unlocked and suddenly remembered that click in the night. He slid the back door deadbolt home. Then he tried the knob to be sure. That night, she woke at some point, having heard what sounded like a click in the hallway. For a moment, she lay silent, listening with bated breath. But when she heard nothing else, she climbed silently out of bed and went to investigate. The hallway outside was empty and dark, and when she checked the closets, bathroom, middle room, and kitchen, everything was empty, still. Her husband's laptop still sat on the coffee table. Well, no one had burgled them then. But when she walked back down toward their bedroom, something made her stop. The back door was unlocked. Anyone could walk right in. She felt a moment's terror, and then a moment's anger. Her husband. Hadn't he taken the recycling out that evening? He was always forgetting the door. He was a large man, and never mindful enough about safety. She drove the deadbolt home. Its heavy click echoed down the hallway. She stopped and listened. Suddenly, an eerie feeling crashed down over her. She retreated to the cool and safety of their bedroom and locked that door behind her too. She lay awake for a long while, trying to listen for a click over the air conditioner. Next morning, at breakfast, she reached across the table and put her hand on his. "Honey," she told him, "you have to lock the back door at night." He looked up at her sharply. "What do you mean? It was locked when I went to bed." "Well, it wasn't when I woke up to use the bathroom at 1 a.m. He thought. He put the tip of his tongue between his teeth. "You're sure you didn't go out again after you locked it?" Now he chewed his lip. "I'm pretty sure," he told her. I'm pretty sure the last thing I did was lock it." They were willing to write it off as his mistake. But then, it kept happening. They stopped using the back door altogether. If they needed to take out the garbage or recycling, they went out to the front of the building and walked all the way around to the back, and then all the way back around to the front. They began to store things in front of the door, boxes of books, bags of old clothes for donation, because that way they could be sure neither of them was going in or out. Of course, they were tempted to accuse one another, but there was too much trust built up between them for either to really believe the other was lying when they said they hadn't touched the door. But they wanted to believe it, badly. The alternatives were too disturbing. And now, most nights, one or the other of them was woken by the sound of the click of the lock. And now, most mornings, when they woke, they'd find the door unlocked. Inviting. It must be Janet, he decided. Janet was their landlady. She's looking to sell the building, so she's coming in and poking around at night, trying to scare the tenants off. But wouldn't we hear her? She's like 70. She's not a cat burglar. But he didn't like that answer. Because if it wasn't Janet, that meant somebody unknown was entering their home at night. "I'm getting a camera," he told her. "I'll take the day off and go buy one. Then we'll see." By then, they'd taken to bringing their valuables into the bedroom with them after dark, and then barricading the bedroom door. When one of them had to use the washroom at night, they woke the other and both went together, armed with the softball bat her mother had played with in the 70s. That night, he set up a nanny cam on their air purifier and left it in the hallway. They lay awake together, waiting for the click. But the world went black before it came. They slept through. For once, they both slept all the way through, till her alarm went off. But when they got up, they found the back door unlocked. He checked the footage on his laptop, but the camera had gone dead. He tried hard to hide his terror from his wife. She tried just as hard to hide hers from him. Neither really managed it. I'm going to return this camera," he said, "and get another." At the store, of course, they tested the equipment and found nothing wrong. Maybe the problem's with your phone. So we bought 3 other models and tested them all before leaving the store. Cost half a month's rent and took all afternoon. That night, he set up 2 cameras in the hallway and a third in the stairwell outside their unlocked door. They barricaded themselves into the bedroom as usual. They were both so tired. When they woke again, the sun was bright, and their back door was unlocked, and the 2 cameras inside were dead, and the one in the hallway just showed 8 hours of motionless footage of the outside of their door. "Let's go away for a while," she told him. He could see the panic in her eyes. She could see the panic in his. "Let's go stay with my parents." Her parents lived in the inner suburbs, and it added 90 minutes to their commute each day. But they went all the same. It was worth almost anything to feel safe by then. At bedtime, among the cluttered furnishings of her parents' basement, they did feel safe. For the first time in a long while. They settled in. He turned out the lights. "Check the back door anyway?" she asked. He went. The knob wouldn't turn. The bolt was drawn, secure. He did the chain up, too. They fell asleep in each other's arms. Until a small click. woke him in the early hours of the morning. He hurled out of bed, and she came behind him, both of them bounding up the stairs to the back door, which was not just unchained and unbolted, but open wide, wide and open to the black and cold first autumn wind. "Leave us alone!" he shouted. "Leave us alone! Leave us alone!" But the night gave no answer, and he slammed the door and put his back against it, sinking to the carpeted floor. Her mother appeared at the top of the steps, rubbing her eyes. "Is something wrong? Was someone shouting? Have you been up?" she asked her mother. "Either you or Dad. Have you been out tonight?" "No. Why? We've both been fast asleep." The couple looked at one another. "We're going to a hotel," she told her mother. They packed up the next day under a pale sun, and her parents didn't understand. That afternoon, they left her car and left their phones and borrowed bikes and rode to a part of town they chose at random and checked into a cheap hotel with borrowed names and paid in cash. That night, when they woke to find the door ajar and the golden light of the hallway streaming in, they both sat on the bed, their knees to their chests, in silence. "There's no way someone could have followed us," he said at last. It's what they'd both been thinking. They'd been so careful. She said nothing for a while. Then, "We must have caught something's attention. I wonder why." Then she looked up at him, sadly. She looked so lovely to him in the half-gold light, and he looked so lovely to her. Maybe we were just too happy. He reached for her, and she came into his arms, and they stayed like that together for a long, long time, just rocking slowly back and forth. The next day, they biked back to her car, slept in the back seat. And then, that night, without having to discuss or think things over, they drove back home together. They unlocked the back door themselves this time, and left the bedroom door flung wide. Then they sat on their bed, drinking coffee, and waiting for whatever came in. The Wrong Station is made possible with the generous support of our listeners on Patreon. Join us today at patreon.com/The Wrong Station for bonus episodes, behind-the-scenes content, ad-free listening, and additional goodies celebrating our decade of dread. The Wrong Station is co-produced by Alexander Saxton, Anthony Botelho, and Jacob Duarte Spiel, with music composed and performed by Alon Citrin, and arranged for the viola and performed by Viola Schmidt. You can follow us on social media at The Wrong Station, or email us at thewrongstation@gmail.com. And until next time, thank you for listening.